Sir, please wake up. We need to talk. Daniel opened his eyes slowly, confused, his body stiff from the old couch. A soft voice came from the kitchen, and when he turned around, his breath stopped in his chest. A woman stood there, wearing his white shirt, her hair messy, her face tired, her hand shaking as she held a cup of coffee. "Do you remember what happened last night?" she asked quietly. Daniel sat up fast, fear crawling into him. "Who are you?" he whispered. She stepped closer, her eyes holding a truth she was scared to say. "I am the woman you pulled out of the fire," she said, "but that is not the part you should be worried about." She placed the cup down carefully, her fingers trembling. "Daniel, something happened last night, something I did not tell you, and before the world gets to you, you need to hear it from me." At that moment, little Lila peeked from the hallway, rubbing her eyes, not knowing that her father's whole life was already tearing open. The woman looked at Daniel again, her voice shaking. "Please listen to everything I am about to say, and stay with me until the end, because what you are about to hear will change everything." The morning felt strange in Daniel Brooks's small house, almost too quiet, almost too still, as if the walls knew something he did not know yet. The smell of coffee moved through the air, soft and warm, but the moment Daniel opened his eyes, nothing felt safe anymore. His back hurt from sleeping on the old couch, his neck stiff, his mind trying to understand why he felt a strange presence in the room. Then he heard it, a soft voice from the kitchen, a voice that did not belong to his world. "Sir, please wake up. We need to talk." Daniel sat up slowly, his heart confused, his breath caught inside him. He turned toward the small kitchen, and the sight froze him in place. A woman stood there, wearing his white shirt that hung loosely on her body, her hair messy, her face pale, her hand shaking slightly as she held the cup of coffee. She looked like someone who had lived 1,000 storms in one night. For a moment, Daniel could not speak. This woman did not belong in his life, his house, his world. He rubbed his eyes again, hoping he was dreaming, but she was still there, staring at him like she was waiting for something heavy. "Do you remember what happened last night?" she asked softly, her voice calm, but he could hear the worry hiding under it. Daniel shook his head. "I remember the storm," he said slowly, "and I remember helping someone in a car." His voice cracked a little. "Was that you?" She placed the cup down, her fingers trembling as if the truth inside her was too big to hold. "Yes," she whispered. "I am the woman you pulled out of the fire." She looked down at the floor, almost as if she was ashamed of something. "But that is not the part you should be worried about." Daniel felt a cold feeling move into his chest. He looked around the house, the small living room, the old chair, the worn pillow, the place that held all the pieces of his life. Nothing felt right anymore. Something heavy was coming, something he was not ready to face. "What do you mean?" he asked carefully. She stepped closer, her eyes tired, her breathing slow. "I need to tell you something," she said. "Something that happened after you brought me here." She swallowed hard. "And before the world gets to you, you need to hear it from me." Before Daniel could ask, a small sound broke the heavy moment. Lila, his 7-year-old daughter, rubbed her sleepy eyes as she walked into the living room. Her tiny feet made soft sounds on the floor. She looked from her father to the strange woman in his shirt. Confusion filled her face, but she smiled anyway, the way only a child could. "Daddy, who is that lady?" she asked with pure innocence. Daniel stood up quickly. "Lila, go to your room for a moment," he said gently. "Daddy will talk to you soon." "But Daddy," she began. "Please, sweetheart, go," he said again, trying to keep his voice calm. Lila nodded slowly and walked away, still looking back at the woman with curious eyes. When she disappeared into her room, silence returned, heavy and cold. Daniel turned to the woman again. "Tell me what happened," he said. "Please." She took a deep breath. "Last night, after you pulled me out of the car, I tried to stay awake, but I was shaking too much," she said. "You brought me here, you covered me with blankets, and you made sure I was safe." She paused, her eyes softening. "You saved my life, Daniel, and I am grateful." Daniel nodded. I did what anyone would do, he said quietly. She looked at him with sad eyes. No, not anyone, she whispered. Most people would have driven past, most people would have left me in the rain, but you did not. Her voice suddenly broke, just a little. But when you put me on your bed, I was not fully unconscious. I heard things, I saw things, and I understood something about you that I should not have known. Daniel frowned. What are you talking about? She stepped closer, and her eyes fell on the old shelf behind him, where Daniel kept folded school papers and drawings made by his daughter. She reached out slowly and touched one of Lila's drawings, a picture of Daniel holding Lila's hand. You are a single father, she whispered, and you are struggling. Daniel felt his jaw tighten. That is my life, he said. But it has nothing to do with you. She turned back to him, her voice shaking. It does now, she said, and that is why you must stay with me until the end, because what I am about to tell you will change everything for you and for her. Daniel felt fear rise slowly inside him. Who are you? He whispered. She looked at him with eyes full of secrets. My name is Alexandra, she said softly. Alexandra Hale. Daniel shook his head. I do not know that name. She let out a sad laugh. You will, she said, because I am not just the woman you saved in the storm. I am someone whose life touches yours in a way you have not seen yet. Daniel felt the room close in on him. Tell me the truth, he said. She stared at him for a long moment, her voice barely a whisper. Daniel, the world will come looking for me today, and when they do, they will come looking for you too. The words moved into the room slowly, heavy, cold, pressing into his chest. Daniel stood still, confused, scared, and angry all at once. What did you do? He asked quietly. Alexandra looked down, her hands shaking. The truth is harder than you think, she whispered. And the moment I say it, nothing in your life will ever be the same again. Daniel stood still in the middle of his small living room, his breath slow and tight. The morning light came through the thin curtains, touching the floor gently, but nothing about this moment felt gentle. Alexandra Hale stood in front of him, wearing his shirt, her fingers shaking as she tried to find the right words. Something deep inside, Daniel already knew that whatever she was about to say would break the quiet life he had tried so hard to build. He swallowed hard. Alexandra, please, he said. Tell me what is going on. She closed her eyes for a moment, as if she needed strength just to speak. Then she opened them slowly, and Daniel saw fear hiding behind them, fear that did not match the strong voice he had heard earlier. Daniel, she whispered, people will come looking for me today. Daniel felt his stomach twist. Why? He asked quietly. Because, she said, I am not just any woman. I am Alexandra Hale, the head of Hale Enterprises. Daniel blinked, confused. The name sounded familiar, but he could not place it. I do not understand, he said. She pointed to the small television in the corner. Turn it on, she whispered. Daniel hesitated, then walked over and pressed the power button. The screen came to life slowly. A news reporter appeared, standing in front of a tall glass building. The words Hale Enterprises were shining above the entrance. Daniel frowned. This looks like one of those fancy companies, he said. Alexandra nodded. It is, she whispered. Then the screen changed. The reporter spoke again. Breaking news. The CEO of Hale Enterprises, Alexandra Hale, has been missing since the storm last night. Her family and security team have launched a search. Daniel slowly turned his head toward her, disbelief in his eyes. Missing, he whispered. People think you are missing. Alexandra nodded again, her lips trembling. Because they do not know where I am, she said. They do not know that I am standing here in your house, wearing your shirt, alive because you saved me. Daniel felt his legs weaken. He sat down slowly on the couch, his hands shaking. Why did you not tell them? He asked softly. Why did you come here instead of going to the hospital or calling someone? She stepped closer, holding her hands tightly together, as if she was afraid they might fall apart. Because I did not trust them, she said. Because something happened before the crash, something I cannot say out loud yet, and the people looking for me might not be looking for me to help me. Daniel stared at her, confused and scared. Are you saying someone hurt you? He asked. She shook her head slowly. Not in the way you think, she said. But something went wrong at the company, something big, and I was on my way to fix it when the accident happened. Daniel rubbed his face, trying to make sense of her words. So you came here, he whispered, to a stranger's house. You were the only person I trusted in that moment, she said softly. You pulled me out of fire, you carried me home in the storm, you covered me with blankets, and you treated me like a human being, not like someone important. She looked down, her voice shaking. I felt safe with you. Daniel felt something pull at his chest, something he did not understand. Alexandra, he whispered, I do not know anything about your world. I am just a man trying to take care of my child. Her eyes softened. I know, she said. And that is why I need to tell you the truth carefully. At that moment, Lila peeked from her bedroom door again. Her small voice cut the tension in the room. Daddy, she whispered, is the lady okay? Daniel turned to her. Lila, go sit on your bed for a moment, he said gently. I will come soon. Lila nodded and closed the door softly. Daniel took a deep breath, then turned back to Alexandra. Say it, he said. Whatever it is, say it. Alexandra walked slowly to the small window and looked outside. The street was quiet, almost empty, but she watched as if she expected someone to appear. Daniel, she said softly, you need to prepare yourself, because what I tell you next will pull you into something bigger than you can imagine. Daniel felt the fear rise in him again. Just say it, he whispered. She turned around, her face pale. Before the crash, she said, I discovered that someone stole a large amount of money from my company. Her voice was low and heavy. Millions, Daniel. Enough to destroy everything I built. Daniel stared at her in shock. What does that have to do with me? He asked quietly. I was driving to confront the person, she said, and I think they knew. I think they wanted to stop me. Her hands began shaking again. The crash might not have been an accident. Daniel froze. Are you saying someone caused it? He whispered. She nodded slowly. Yes, she whispered. And if they find out I survived, they will want to know where I went. They will want to know who helped me. Daniel felt cold all over. Me, he whispered. You brought danger here. Her eyes filled with tears, but she held them back. I did not want to, she said. I just needed one night to think, one night to breathe, one night to understand what happened. Daniel stood up, pacing the small space. I have a child here, he said. You should have told me from the start. Alexandra stepped forward. I know, she said, and I am sorry. I did not want to scare you. But Daniel, you saved my life, and because of that, you became part of something you did not choose. Daniel turned to her, anger and fear mixing inside him. What do you want from me? He asked. She looked at him with deep sadness. I want time, she whispered. Just one day. One day to figure out who I can trust and how to face what happened. She paused, her voice breaking. And I want you to stay calm, because if the wrong people come today, you need to know that you did nothing wrong. Daniel felt his chest tighten. He looked at her long and hard, his mind spinning, his heart heavy. What happens next? He asked quietly. Alexandra lifted her head, her eyes steady and sad. The next hours will decide everything, she whispered. For you, for me, and for your little girl. The house felt smaller now, almost too quiet, almost too dangerous. And the day had only begun. The morning passed slowly, almost painfully, as Daniel tried to understand the danger Alexandra had brought into his home. The storm outside had ended hours ago, but inside his chest, another kind of storm had begun. He felt like every breath he took carried a weight he did not ask for. Alexandra stood near the window, watching the street with nervous eyes, as if expecting someone to appear at any moment. Daniel sat on the couch, holding his head in his hands. You should have gone to the police, he said quietly. They could protect you. Alexandra shook her head. I cannot trust them yet, she said. Not until I know who is involved. When people steal millions from a company, it is never just one person, it is someone powerful, someone close. Daniel looked up slowly. So, you think someone close to you tried to harm you? He asked. She nodded. Yes, she whispered. And that is what scares me the most. Daniel stood up and walked toward the small kitchen sink, his hands shaking slightly as he grabbed a glass of water. He turned the faucet on, watching the water flow slowly. You should have told me all of this last night, he said. You should have given me a chance to decide. I know, she whispered from behind him. And I am sorry. Her voice sounded honest, but Daniel was still scared. He turned around, holding the glass tightly. I have a daughter, he said. Everything I do is for her. I cannot put her in danger. Alexandra stepped closer, her eyes soft with regret. Daniel, I would never hurt you or your daughter, she said gently. If I had any place else to go, I would have gone there. But I did not. I only felt safe here. Daniel let out a long breath. Why here? He asked. Why me? She looked down at the floor for a moment, then lifted her head slowly. Because the moment you pulled me out of that car, you looked at me like a person, not like a problem, she said. You did not ask who I was, or what I had. You just saved me. No one has done that for me in a long time. Silence filled the room again, heavy and thick. Then Lila's small voice came from the hallway. Daddy, can I come out now? She asked softly. Daniel glanced at Alexandra, then at the door. Yes, sweetheart. Come, he said. Lila came out slowly, still wearing her blue pajamas, her small curls falling over her face. She walked to Daniel and held his hand tightly. Daddy, are you upset? She asked. Daniel knelt beside her. No, baby, he said gently. Daddy is just thinking. Lila looked at Alexandra with big, curious eyes. Are you staying here? She asked. Alexandra knelt too, her voice warm and kind. Just for a little while, she said. Your father helped me when I needed it, and now I need a little time to fix things. Lila nodded slowly. Do you need breakfast? She asked. Alexandra smiled softly. Maybe later, she said, but thank you. Lila smiled back, her innocence filling the room with a small comfort. She went to her room to change, humming quietly, unaware of the danger outside. Daniel stood up again, his voice low. You cannot stay long, he said. You need to decide what you are going to do next. Alexandra nodded. I know, she said. They both turned when they heard a car driving slowly outside. Daniel walked to the window, his heart tightening. A black car moved down the street, not fast, not loud, just slowly, watching. The tinted windows made it impossible to see inside. Alexandra gasped softly and stepped back. That is not my driver, she whispered. Daniel felt a chill move through his body. Who could it be? He asked. I do not know, she said, but no one in this neighborhood drives that kind of car. The car kept moving, slow, quiet, until it stopped at the end of the street. Then it waited. No one stepped out. No one moved inside. It just stayed there. Daniel turned to Alexandra. You need to hide, he said. Go to the back room. Alexandra hesitated. Daniel, what if they come here? She whispered. Daniel looked at her with a steady face. Then I will protect my daughter, he said softly. Go now. Alexandra nodded and hurried toward the back room. Daniel stood near the door, looking at the strange car, his heart heavy with fear. He did not want this danger. He did not want this confusion. He just wanted to keep his child safe. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. The car stayed there, still and silent. Lila came out of her room dressed for the day, holding her small backpack. Daddy, is it time for school? She asked. Daniel forced a gentle smile. We might stay home today, he said. Daddy has something important to do. Lila nodded slowly, sensing the tension. Is the lady still scared? She asked. Daniel swallowed hard. Yes, he whispered. She is. Lila looked outside the window, her small face turning thoughtful. "Daddy," she said quietly, "maybe someone is scared of her too." Daniel blinked at her words. "Why do you say that?" he asked. "Because she looks like someone who hides things inside her heart," Lila said. "The way you do when you do not want me to worry." Daniel stared at his daughter, surprised by her understanding. "You are too smart," he whispered. Lila shrugged softly. "I just feel things," she said. Daniel hugged her tightly, holding her close. "Everything will be okay," he whispered into her hair. But he did not know if that was true. A loud knock suddenly hit the door, sharp and strong. Daniel froze. Lila grabbed his shirt, her small fingers shaking. The knock came again, louder. "Daniel Brooks," a voice called from outside. "We need to speak with you." Daniel's heart sank. He looked at the door, then at his daughter, then toward the back room where Alexandra was hiding. The voice outside called again, deeper now. "Open the door. This is important." Daniel moved toward the door slowly, every step heavy, his breath tight. He had no idea who was waiting on the other side. He only knew that one choice could change the rest of his life. The knock on the door echoed through the small house, each sound deep and heavy, filling the air with fear. Daniel stood still, his hand frozen on the doorknob, his breath slow as he tried to keep himself calm. Behind him, Lila held onto his shirt, her small fingers shaking. She looked up at him, afraid but trusting him completely. "Daddy," she whispered. "Who is it?" Daniel shook his head slowly. "I do not know, baby," he said softly. "Go to your room and close the door." "I want to stay with you," Lila whispered. Daniel knelt quickly, holding her shoulders gently. "Please listen to me," he said. "Go to your room, stay quiet, and do not come out until I tell you." Lila nodded, tears in her eyes. She stepped back, then ran to her room, closing the door softly. Daniel stood again, his heart heavy with fear. He turned to look toward the back room where Alexandra was hiding. He could not see her, but he knew she was scared too. The knock came again. "Daniel Brooks," the voice called. "We need to speak with you. It is important." Daniel took a deep breath and pulled the door open slowly. Standing on the small porch were two people, a man and a woman, both dressed neatly, holding identification cards. The man stepped forward first. "Mr. Brooks," he said, "we are looking for a woman who may have been involved in an accident last night." Daniel felt his chest tighten. "I do not know what you are talking about," he said calmly. The woman beside him spoke gently. "Sir, we are not here to harm you," she said. "We only want to confirm if she is safe." Daniel studied their faces carefully. They did not look dangerous, but danger never showed itself clearly. He kept his voice steady. "What woman?" he asked. The man opened a small folder and held up a picture. It was Alexandra, standing in front of her company building, wearing a black suit. She looked confident, powerful, nothing like the frightened person hiding in his house. "This woman," the man said, "her name is Alexandra Hale. She has been missing for many hours. Her family is worried." Daniel swallowed hard. His mind raced. Were they telling the truth, or were they part of the danger Alexandra feared? He kept his expression calm. "I have not seen her," he said. The woman looked at him closely. "Mr. Brooks," she said softly, "we know your truck was seen near the accident site. We are not accusing you of anything. We just want to know if she is alive." Daniel felt the fear rise again, hot and heavy. Sweat gathered on his forehead. He kept his voice low. "Is she in danger?" he asked. The man nodded. "Yes," he said. "We believe she might be, and anyone helping her might also be in danger." Those words hit Daniel hard. He stepped outside, pulling the door closed behind him, trying to keep his body between them and the inside of his home. "If she is in danger," Daniel said slowly, "then you need to tell me why." The man took a deep breath. "Someone inside her company may have tried to harm her," he said. "Someone who wants her gone." Daniel felt the truth settle into his bones. Alexandra had been right. Danger was real. Danger was close. The woman continued, "If she is here, Mr. Brooks, please understand that we are here to protect her, not hurt her. Her brother sent us. He is worried for her life. Daniel's breath caught. Her brother, he repeated. Yes, the woman said. He asked us to search for her quietly. He feared the wrong people might be watching. Daniel looked back at his house, his heart pounding slowly, each beat heavy. Alexandra had not mentioned a brother. She had not said one word about family. She had only said she could not trust anyone. He turned back to the pair. I will ask you one question, he said. Are you here to help her or to control her? The man shook his head. To help her, he said firmly. We want to keep her alive. She is our priority. Daniel stayed silent for a long moment, trying to read their faces. Both looked sincere, but people could lie. People could hide the truth behind calm eyes. He needed a moment to think. Wait here, Daniel said. I will check something. He stepped inside and closed the door quietly. His chest tightened as he walked toward the back room. Alexandra was standing near the wall, her body shaking, her eyes filled with fear. Who is it? She whispered. Daniel lowered his voice. They say they work for your brother, he said. They say they want to protect you. Alexandra covered her mouth, fear flooding her face. My brother, she whispered. No. He does not send people. He comes himself. Daniel felt his chest sink. So they are lying, he asked. Alexandra nodded quickly. Yes, she whispered. If my brother wanted me, he would have walked through that door himself. Those people are not from him. Daniel felt the room grow colder. Then who are they? He asked. She shook her head slowly. Someone else, she whispered. Someone who wants me to disappear quietly. Daniel looked at her for a long moment. His mind raced, but one thing became clear. She was not safe. And because of that, he and Lila were not safe either. He took a deep breath. Go to the back window, he said. We need to leave. Alexandra stared at him. Leave, she whispered. Where will we go? Daniel stepped closer, his voice steady now, stronger than before. Anywhere but here, he said. I will not let them take you, and I will not let them harm my daughter. Alexandra's eyes filled with tears. Daniel, she whispered, you do not have to do this. He shook his head. Yes, I do, he said. You came here because you felt safe, and now you are under my roof. That makes you my responsibility. Alexandra covered her mouth again, crying quietly, not from fear now, but from something softer, something that looked like relief. Daniel walked to Lila's room and pushed the door open slowly. She looked up from the small chair where she sat holding her doll. Daddy, she whispered, is everything okay? Daniel knelt beside her. We need to go on a little trip, he said gently. Right now. Why? She asked. Because Daddy needs to keep you safe, he whispered. Lila stood slowly, trusting him completely. Daniel grabbed a small bag, threw in a few clothes, and held Lila's hand tightly. Alexandra waited by the back window, her breath shaking, her eyes full of fear and hope. Daniel opened the window slowly. The air outside felt cold, but it felt safer than the front door. He helped Alexandra climb out first, then lifted Lila gently, then climbed out himself. As they moved away from the small house, Daniel looked back one last time. His old life was behind that door. And ahead of him was a truth he could no longer escape. The real danger had just begun. Dear viewers, this story shows how one simple act of kindness can change a life, and how courage can grow inside a person who has nothing but love to give. Daniel did not have money, he did not have power, he only had his heart, and that heart protected his daughter and a woman he barely knew. Alexandra walked into his life by accident, but she learned that real safety does not come from strong walls or big companies. It comes from a human who chooses to care, even when he is scared. This story reminds us that danger may push us into fear, but love and kindness can push us forward into hope. Daniel did not run away from the truth, he faced it, because of his daughter, because he wanted to do what was right, and because sometimes the strongest people are the ones who stand in small houses with nothing but honesty in their hands. Dear viewers, if this story touched your heart, if it made you think about courage, kindness, and protection, Please tell us in the comments where you are watching from and what you learned from this journey. Your words matter, your voice matters, and your support helps us bring more powerful stories to you. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to feel emotion, someone who needs to feel hope again. And if you want more stories from us, comment "more stories," and you will be among the first to receive the next emotional story. Before you go, answer these 3 questions in the comments. 1. If you were Daniel, what would you do when strangers knocked on your door? 2. Do you believe Alexandra made the right choice by trusting him? 3. What lesson did this story teach you about kindness and courage? We look forward to reading your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and stay with us for more emotional stories.